legit, turn me up. Hope you got my back. Why won't you just cut me some slack? Yeah, just give me some grace, give me some grace. Hope you got my back. Why won't you just cut me some slack? Yeah, just give me some grace, give me some grace. I'm gonna get this back. Bitch, you know ain't no looking back. Yeah, I can't give you no grace unless you call me back. Don't tell me that it was just a act. Yeah, I might give you some grace, yeah. Like a dog, got your mental in a hole. Living rent free, you ain't head to your dead. Even when you drift off in the middle of the road. Even in the summertime, it be getting cold. Got you thinking that you gotta go and get up in the cold. While you trying to reach for the stars and it goes too big, too much for your little bitty soul. Got a lot of tracks, my artillery, this shit'll be unknown. Just know it's a limited for show. When I hit the block instead, all my ops is dead. But right now, all my enemies is hoes. Girl, why you act like that? Why you gotta act like that? All these damn questions, why you gotta act like that? Bringing up the past like that. Tell me what you really wanna know. Yeah, homegirl, I'm on God's team. Girl, you my other half, just like me. Spot this with the red tea like noses and clear the shit up so you can see like some hot scene. Hope the light is bright, no hot beams. So why you wanna go and stay in the dark? You must got you and I don't mind. You at the devil's playground, you stay at the park. This just the beginning, we at the starting point. I'm just making my mark. So much feels to die, esoteric grocery store. We shopping, we ain't taking the car. Tell me why we keep staying apart. Why I can't be like the old days? But I ain't really into all the old games. Tell me what the fuck is going on in your brain, yeah. I hope you got my back. Why won't you just cut me some slack? Yeah, just give me some grace, give me some grace. Hope you got my back. Why won't you just cut me some slack? Yeah, just give me some grace, give me some grace. I'm gonna get this back. Bitch, you know ain't no looking back. Yeah, I can't give you no grace, unless you call me back. Tell me that it was just a act. Yeah, I might give you some grace, yeah. So fucking with me and you know I was the only way to the top. You drinking the Kool-Aid or chocolate milk or you drinking the pop. I'm the boss of the shit, you should pay this to watch. Like the tours and shit when it's 8 on the clock. On my Scorpio shit when it's 8 on the watch. That's the PM all the way to AM and stop on the block. Build it from the grassroots. I shine the stars, that you. Do you exist, is that true? Please can you stop frontin'? That's why nobody wanna back you. Girl, ain't nobody act you. Getting stepped on like a Mac dude. This loud is insulin match, boo. That's why I don't wanna tag you. Didn't mean to leave you so saucy. Like a goddamn cashew. Yeah, girl, I ain't really mad at you. Only thing I'm looking for is peace. But you got me looking for my peace. I love American pie, yeah, baby, I'm keeping on my peace. Now you got me looking like I eat. But I really hope you got my back. Why won't you just cut me some slack? Yeah, just give me some grace, give me some grace. Hope you got my back. Why won't you just cut me some slack? Yeah, just give me some grace, give me some grace. I'm gonna get this back. Bitch, you know ain't no looking back. Yeah, I can't give you no grace, unless you call me back. Tell me that it was just a act. Yeah, I might give you some grace, yeah.
I'll give you some grace, yeah. Not a lot of grace can be given in today's time. I'm gonna say that right now. Right now. You got all kind of goddamn strawberries. Several strawberries, vines in the back of your yard now. The food tastes a lot better. You just took 2 bites. And it was enough to make a turd, bitch. Oh, Sarah, real. Oh, Sarah, Grandma, are you okay? Real shit. So y'all go check on y'all grandma, check on y'all peoples. Check on your peoples. You know what I'm saying? Because they could be floating around the spiritual world and shit. Like, you got a lot of missing kids out here right now. A lot of missing kids. I say a lot of not just no damn tears of trails and stuff like that. You got the trail of I cried, cry wolf, all kind of trails and shit. Just know settlers came over here and start pushing millions of people westward. That's just all kind of different trails that got tears involved with it and shit. You know what I'm saying? But this is going to get into some spiritual knowledge and things of that nature and give you true pre-Columbus American history. Non-existent George Washington American history. The real presidents that was over here and governors history of things. So you don't get it in context like people running around naked and retarded and stuff like that. No, we ran governments. See what I'm saying? So, you know, they try to whitewash a lot of the story, and these things may not be told in history, however the case may be. As such as Neolin. You know what I'm saying? You just hear when people want to join a game, like military wars and stuff like that. But we had our whole own thing going on and stuff like that. So when we get into like war chief, a SACHEM, and a medicine man, then we get females that have these same type of qualities and things of that nature, right? It's starting to help you understand what's actually going on. Now, pardon me, the Lenape is just the area, but it's just a group of bands in those areas and things of that nature, right? And then you got wolf bands and stuff like that, but a lot of fucking going on. So when it comes to becoming a planet con, you created a planet. A planet is you have accomplished a full circumference. A full circumference is you're the most known within a territory, whether there's multiple tribes there or not. 9 times out of 10, a lot of intermarrying going on, a lot of children being made, a lot of sons is being raised up, even if you're the brother of a female that I may be interacting with. So we're the same age, or you might be older, but you still can become war chief, or, you know, another SACHEM that can lead on, or become a medicine man, because, you know, individuals be having all 3 qualities and things of that nature. So when we get into Neolin, he's one of the bands out of the Lenape who did a lot of fucking. Let's make it simple. Did a lot of fucking. You know what I'm saying? So we pretty much all the tribes got an auntie or uncle that's in part of the bands that was part of the Lenape. You know what I'm saying? So you gotta look at it like that first before we even get into deep. Now, once you create a whole territory, there's like almost reaching 7 extension of bands. You done made 7 bands. People within those 7 bands has started extended to make a band, and then that whole territory can be relatable now. It can be a kinship now, right? And we can have a covenant chain when we start to extend planetons, right? Extend one territory to another territory, and we start to do the same thing and expand. So this is what we've been doing all the way from central, southern to northern America. Central, southern, northern. You know what I'm saying? Now, when it comes to the area, we always doing the same thing anyway. Don't just make you think that it's just about Peru and stuff like that. No, just because North America is getting so colonized, this is the first one that they're going to try to change so much of the history of also. So when it comes to the main planeton, or the planeton of the northeast / slightly west territory, so that'd be Ohio, Pennsylvania, New York, Jersey, you know what I'm saying? So Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, if I ain't named that, right? So straight out of Muskingum, Ohio, will be this individual. So here's where it'll be a lot of Sioux from the Midwest, Dakota, Great Plains, Colorado, still in New York, Jersey, Carolinas, us Catawbas, yes, Yahlahués, all the way will come visit this person. Like when you run a whole, like we looked at cities and states different. You see what I'm saying? So the Northwest Territory is one thing. That's like a little bit of Mississippi, you know what I'm saying? Illinois, Indiana, Michigan, Ohio, and piece of the west of PA, Pennsylvania. Then once you get to the right, the east of it, then you extend that Mars planet, a lot of the Haudenosaunee and the Lenape connected to the Lenape, connected with the Shawnees, Wyandot, and Miami, and things of that nature, Huron and Erie over here in the Mercury area, Northwest Territory. So when you get that split line of Pennsylvania, that split line right there of the rivers, right? You get Mars and you get Mercury here. And then when that's two planetons ruled by planetons. Haudenosaunee, probably like the main planeton for the East Coast. Then when you get to the slightly just the middle of North America, so we call it a Northwest Territory, that Western Pennsylvania, then over here in Ohio, and then Indiana, Illinois, and stuff like the Chicago, Detroit, this become Mercury area. You know what I'm saying? And shit like that. So when we get into that, when you get into the understanding, we're connecting in that way. This is how everybody had a united language and body language, that settlers come up with the concept of us having 500 different languages. To them, we understand it from extending as family and creating bands and covering the whole continent. See what I'm saying? So this is why they needed interpreters. And most of the time, the interpreter or the scout don't even be from the tribe that they claim as a different language if you're getting the history in today's time. See what I'm saying? So get y'all into context. Now, when it comes to Neolin, right? Now, over here, there's a lot of settlement. Now, they understand the concept of settlement and everything from us. We already doing these things. So they didn't even change anything. They just took our ways and culture and kept doing it. See what I'm saying? Because they like the land or whatever, and turned us into holidays, stars, and technologies, and forums, and video games, and movies, and shit like that. But all the way down to the religion. Turned our mind into a religion and shit. And called it Christianity. So you have to know, missionaries is into colonizing after they had the equipment to do it. First is just settling and not wanting to live where they was at, getting a butt kicked, right? So that comes to like late 1600s, and that get tricky at times. So you're only getting like 30, 40, 50 to 60 years of them coming over here in small portions at this time. Once you get to the mid 1700s, that's when it gets out of hand and we're becoming Indian givers. So here's where a lot of their military power also come into play, and having this technology of, they made so much money by settling when it was peaceful that now they can buy other people into bribery. So here's where they're starting to bring Filipinos, African Americans, not African American, but the Africans, the Negro tribes. I hate that I have to say that. The Arab tribes, I hate to have to say that. Y'all been so colonized, y'all can't speak for yourselves like this, so that's bad. When it comes to Arab, you can't tell Myron Gaines, hey, what specific tribe and what specific language and what y'all call that land before Briticana man called y'all what y'all are now and you got brought over here. He can't do it. He can't do it. Thank you so much for the cash app. Damn, Aquarius, I appreciate that from the bar, Mark. You want to be able to do it? And maybe you can. I don't know. But a lot of our religions have been colonized, which I'm going to actually break down how y'all get this watered down Native American shit. That's and they calling it Christian and they're claiming it, but it started at a time of them playing God with just their military force power and forcing us to make them think that they're God by force. So, and then based upon us already having beliefs and stuff like that, they plagiarize the names too and say, believe in us. Believe what's in your mind, believe we that. So that's when they start changing the faces of stuff in our spiritual system too. So now at this time, when settlers coming over here, they're also doing dynasty warrior psyops. When you go capture a main sanctum. So the same thing they was doing in Peru, they was doing over here in this territory. Mercury pocket, Mars pocket, with the Haudenosaunee, Venus pocket, from the Carolinas all the way down to Florida. Saturn pocket, Gold Rush, Silver Rush, California. You know, Jupiter pocket, Great Plains, Colorado. They did that to all of us and shit like that. You see what I'm saying? It's the same thing. They make y'all think it's smallpox. No, it's manipulation, war tactic, and force, and we're your God because we think we're... And then they start calling it saving souls when they give y'all the book and Mormon history. It ain't... In their mind, they ain't saving souls. They just being enemies. They just being negative and just wanting to take people's land and figure out a paperwork way of try to claim native to people's lands. So it's a paper trail. You know what I'm saying? And they're in hopes of, if the paper trail can be at least 300 to 400 to 500 years, hey, maybe this makes us native. You know what I'm saying? But they know it's bad of how they got control over people's lands if they can't get that done. It's always going to be looked at as bad. The government itself is going to be looked at as bad. But when they can't change history to make it seem like they was first somewhere. So this is what they're busy trying to do. So that creates what Masonry is. And Illuminati, cosplay Native American Indians and get paid off of it. So for an example, let's say if you watching NASA or a, a show about satellites or stars in the sky, they'll show a camera with the light flare on it and blow it up and spend a whole hour lying. Like the white boys be dead serious in the face. You know what I'm saying? That's why they start having organ implosions and throat problems and thyroid problems. They can't, they don't want to believe that's tying it two together. They don't, but I'm trying to tell them that's what it is. And they make a whole thing about that. But y'all don't, little do y'all know, y'all will spend all y'all tax money and stuff like that on something the white boy don't even believe. And you done got broke buying a satellite and shit like that. And the white boy got books that they read to be like, yeah, a Native American said they came from the sky. Let's see how much we can milk from that. You know what I'm saying? So they just create psyops off everything we come up with spiritually. So you got to understand that too. Every movie, every NASA thing, every religion, everything they're doing in government, they stole it all. We just did it more. You just got a natural way of doing it, and you got an unnatural way of doing it. And I think y'all could come to the conclusion of which one is which. Now, when it comes to Naomi, this is what the story of Neo about. So it's not that Neolin, my bad, Neolin. It's not that Neolin went through what the movie Matrix is about, what they put Neo through. Our teachings is what they took the Neo concept by him being the one individual that they did a psyop on and captured and killed, right? Hung him on a cross. That he was the one that they hung on a cross to make everybody worship Christianity, right? But Christianity at this time is just the military in Latin terms. The spiritual aspect y'all getting from it is them having good relations with us for them to learn our ways. So when they brought the letter J, V for their justice and whatever that they're bringing and things of that nature, right? Here's where Yehovah, no, we're going to be Yehovah. Call us Jehovah. We are the justice. We will feed you. We will make, you see what I'm saying? This is their way of colonizing, not them being spiritual missionaries. And when they was in Palestine or something, they had an actual God. No, y'all got that wrong. They don't have nothing. They're taking other people's moral systems and just using force. Without force, they're nothing. You understand that? This is why they can make something seem like it's normal on the news now when we start to talk about wars. No, it's just white boys want to blow up things and they think that's what solve things. But it never have no logic behind it at all. At all. Like, I don't get it. So a lot of it is fake. Because you got to understand, who would try to blow up a mountain with explosions in it? Won't the explosions detonate? And anytime there's an explosion, it could be a car that ran into a street pole 4 blocks up from you and your electricity off, and you call an electric company and talk about when y'all gonna cut the electricity on. You mean to tell me it's just like them? That's what I'm saying. Y'all don't dive too far into the delusion. Don't fall too far into the delusion. It's a game. It's a game. And if you ain't got the blood in you to see where the game started and why it was started, you'll be rocked to sleep and not ever be able to speak for your people, not ever be able to get out of a magnet square, not ever be able to get out of a box. And if you do, by some other means, you might only have limited comprehensions on how to go about it. And it might be negative stuff to get you in jail for 1,000 years, stuff to make you harm somebody else. And that's never the way. You see what I'm saying? That's never, you let people burn in their own devices. You don't participate. And if they do something to you, let them. Now, I'm not saying if you are problematic person and that's what you're in. I'm saying that when someone practicing extreme evil in some type of way, there's pretty much nothing you could do anyway. So you don't want to pass off in the same energy that person in. Allow all that blood just to be on that person. Don't even give a percentage scale of where you could have did something that still, if the outcome of the situation, of the situation itself, look like the outcome wouldn't be no different. You know what I'm saying? That's like somebody forcing you with guns or something like that. And yeah, it's cool to, like, you're gonna get shot anyway, so why get shot in anger? You know what I'm saying? You could get shot and smile, because it'll be that type of bonded situation. Now, if it's a situation you already involved in something, somebody at you, that's different scenarios. We're not dealing with that as natives. You know what I'm saying? We're dealing with someone trying to play God and using these things as exact forward. Not someone just involved in crimes and stuff like that, and y'all both got access to shit. You see what I'm saying? It's not like that. It was taking our ability to eat, taking our ability to have our own culture and come amongst each other and build our government and our world and building structures the way we didn't need no help. We did that ourselves. They stopped us from building and say try to play our God. And then y'all get this Bible saying people trying to build up to God somewhere where it ain't no God. They start doing that stuff after they interacted with us. That's why everybody around the world really only been colonized in the 1900s. They needed the fruit of this land to be able to do it, because they can't do it in Asia. So you can only get this fruit from this land and make business deals from this fruit from this land with Arabs and Asians, and to be able to just try to make this land yours now so you can stay in the game. But without this land, white boy ain't in the game at all. Not for Asians. They ain't in the game. And they having a hard time with Arabs right now. And the Arabs somehow got the African, got the Negro tribes wrapped around their finger in some way. You know what I'm saying? So Ibrahim not going to go too far from an Arab, and the Arab is not going to go too far with letting the white man know, whenever you slip up, I'm ready to take your place. And the Asian man is just right here ready to, I said the Asian man is sitting here just mind their business. I said mind their business. I said, it's fucked up, man. And white boy had to take us out the game, period. I gotta use the bathroom. Then we're gonna get into the history. Then we're gonna get into the knowledge of the Manëtuwak. I'll say real shit at MONETOWAH. Y'all got to start understanding the big spiritual game. You know what I'm saying? Where you're making the nationalities because you know your race and your and your ethnicity and DNA, whether it's getting lost or not. Everybody's getting lost, but this is something the white boy understand harder than everybody. And a lot of people that's mixed with a lot of percentage scales, these is a lot of people that's calling themselves black or white right now. You're super behind the race. You got to like start over. Even start coming up with y'all words too. You know what I'm saying? Not just slang, actual words. So your kids start to add on to it. Their kids start to add on to it. Now you got some legacy. Now you got some oral tradition. So when your story is being plagiarized, your spirit people still here in bodies being born saying that ain't ours, that ain't us. Oh, that's somebody who came on our land saying that in history or whatever. You see what I'm saying? If you don't do that, man, it's y'all close, real close, real close. These times is a beautiful and a scary time that we in. We in a beautiful and a scary time. So that's always ultimately beautiful, but ultimately to get to heaven, you got to go through hell. Now, Neolin, he was the main place. So this Ohio is a presence. This was one of the first areas that the settlers was coming through. They would make y'all think it was New York. No, it wasn't. It was Ohio. You know what I'm saying? And Pennsylvania and around this area. Because when you're coming from the waterfront, you're coming into villages, but those are the extension of the bands. So you can kind of look at it like a smaller concept of how we all migrated. But we was always scattered, but just how we take the luxury from the great chiefs, and they have the access to all the gold and stuff like that, and have to kind of compartmentalize it. When you're not so established, you're more in the outskirts. So this would be our version of a suburb. That ain't a suburb, it's just an outskirt, a more poor concept of the more central area where the great main chief would be at, or the medicine man. So by the water river lines, you're interacting first on the waterfront, at the door gate of Mama Land, you're interacting with the extended. So it'll be the poorer tribes that's working. Then once you get more into the center, right? But you will have to get sanctioned. You just can't come meet our governor. You just can't come meet our Massasoit. You just can't come meet the Arachnosaur like that. You just can't come to our center marketplace. You see what I'm saying? You got to know this tribe, because really, those first tribes, what we consider poor, is rich to you. Whatever you need, the first couple of bands of tribes probably already got it for you anyway. Like you ain't never got to come and some foreigner off the boat or some tribe that we ain't really extend our planet with your planeton yet. So I'm saying, so it'd be like, yeah, we're neighboring tribes, bands, and territories, but not mixed and mingled in yet for us to always that'd just be just for them to talk about. So it'd be one in Indiana that'd go talk to one probably in Rhode Island, right? So that'll set that up at the year. We will travel for that. But the tribes all in between got everything locked. When it comes to trade route and any settler coming, we already rich to you. But in our concept, the more extended out you is and closer to the water, you're poor. You're poor. You see what I'm saying? So for the most part, so at this time, this was Neolin. So he was inspiring all the war chiefs from all the tribes and stuff like that, because he probably had kids with all their damn sisters and shit. You know, that's the damn hoes. Lenapes was hoes. These cats hoes. Talk about not keeping your dick to yourself. Talk about community dick. Talk about community dick. Lenapes, your damn shit. Y'all don't know that. Y'all don't know that. Y'all don't know that. All right. But look, check it out, right? When it comes to just the medicine man quality or whatever the case may be. So this would make white man jealous a little bit. Through the white man eyes, it looked like people worshiping a person. But when you listen to the person, it's trying to get you out of, I didn't actually name the land. I'm not actually trying to tell you what to do. It's something through me. Manëtuwak. You know what I'm saying? By the great spirit and Yahlahué, the great chief. But for the most part, you know, somebody who don't believe that shit will be like, no, you trying to be that. And I'm going to show your people you ain't shit. You're in the flesh. You ain't this thing. You claiming you just the son of it. You know what I'm saying? You ain't that though. You ain't about to, it ain't about to stop me from doing this to you with this big knife. You know what I'm saying? It ain't about to stop this from doing this to your people, poisoning them or whatever. So if I do this mean whatever you believe in, I got something like that. I'm going to call it a title, God. And if I'm able to get this done, then my God said I could have this land. You know what I'm saying? It stopped. Did it stop there? It stopped there in the Washishu mine. This would they get drunk and start killing a lot of Native Americans and shit. You know what I'm saying? Without giving a fuck, without giving two fucks, with that kind of, they start building on that. The more spooky you get, the more the white man don't believe it. But oh, okay, we acting spooky now. Well, my spookiness is more real, and shoot, just a lot of killings start happening when they get spooky. When white boy gets spooky, we get Star Trek, Star Wars, Jurassic Park, Guerrilla War. You know what I said? There was that King Kong. I said all of that is from interacting with the Native Americans, though. But then you see their same seed. They can make movies out of it now. So they don't believe none of this shit. They just gonna milk it, but do it in a technology way. Even play your God. Whatever you believe, whatever we used to tell them, they'd come make a machine or make some technology and be like, hey, this will help you with your belief. Some fake ass shit. You know what I'm saying? And they had shit to do with nothing else but bargaining and exchange and shit like that. They don't believe shit. If it is, they only just believe in money. So that's what you gotta understand too. They don't believe shit, but some bargain and exchange concept. So they even take what you believe and try to make some money out of it. You know what I'm saying? They used to go deep. Now peep game, right? So when it comes into them meeting him and stuff like that, because that's how a lot of different tribes used to come and meet Neolin and stuff, right? So they didn't really like that after a while, but they knew he had a lot of knowledge. So they was getting to know him. They built a lot of relationship with him and stuff like that. Now, here's the thing. Once they figured out the ins and outs, the manipulation come. And once they can kill the main person, that leaves everybody in stray. That leaves everybody scattered in someone, because this was a person we was dependent on. or whatever the case may be. White boy looking at it like, we don't even depend on our people and stuff like that. So you don't think y'all should do that. You know what I'm saying? They just come up with fake ass moral systems for us and shit, right? Once they killed them, right? This was the missionaries, the mission, like Jesuit missionaries and stuff, right? It's what they're calling Christian today. Back then, it was just colonizing. The spiritual system that Christianity is what we was teaching them. That's why I don't even know how they said the Bible was made 2,000 years. I don't. Maybe that Old Testament of just colonizing, but they updated the Old Testament too to appear like the New Testament once they added all of our shit to it and our origin story and shit. Genocide. That's our word. You know what I'm saying? It's about the jinn, the beginning of the jinn, the people who was originally here. You know what I'm saying? The indigenous. So it's about the stories of us and the colonists, the generals. So once they killed him in front of everybody on a cross. See, ain't no book for this. See, y'all would think it's a white boy ain't gonna have no history on this or whatever the case may be. But you should know, especially in this area, you got people telling you, especially if you live around Native Americans, this are heroes and stuff like that. And I know what y'all be picking, old generals and stuff like that. That's degenerates and the butter biscuit degenerates and stuff like that. But and then wash their ass with feet hurt energy. But a lot of times, this is the natural quality of life. Like you got two layers of life when you walk outside. If you part of here, you see the first world, but you see the other world built on top of it. Like not that plagiarized shit where they be talking about underwater. For an example, you might be in a city with a whole bunch of hills. Mother Earth ain't just do all them hills herself. Those was Native American mounds, not just the burial mounds. That's the most latest one. So they kept, this was a thing that they was doing being negative on purpose. So they would kill a whole bunch of Native Americans. And let's say it was at the time they was bringing freedmans and Filipinos over here. And then they refused to do that job with them, right? They'd mix y'all with us. And let's say we in one pocket. They'd make us believe we're on some peace type of thing just to get us all in one pocket. Kill us all, and it'd be so many bodies, you don't know what to do with them, but burn them, and that stink and stuff, so bury them. So here's where cement and burying, wherever all the Native American, wherever they was at, is buried, and the mound is buried, and right now there are roads, there are hills you drive on, there's streets you drive on, so you walk on. So y'all don't be understanding what a lot of technology come out would be in the Jewish white person's mind, and them even using the word Jew, and they mind. Let's say they made the red bottom shoes. You like these some expensive shoes, even though they your feet hurt energy. In they mind, they know they're being negative. They're like, yeah, we're walking on the blood of dead Native Americans to represent Americans. We're the real Americans over here. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's just as far as that. Everything is sarcasm to them. Oh, they really believe we their gods? These foreigners we bringing them over here? They believe this Christianity stuff? Yeah, let's make another law. Let's make life harder for them. Like, that's really where it stops in their mind. Like, y'all don't really believe that, though. I don't know why. You know what I'm saying? But they did everything they doing to y'all in a watered-down version to us. For real. You know what I'm saying? So, once they killed homeboy, right, Neolin, then they turned the scattered bands that was part of the Lenape into the ones who was willing to be like, all right, man, we don't want no problems or whatever the case may be. This is where you start to become civilized. So this became the Munsi tribe. So this is giving you a context, y'all, that it ain't just here, but this is how we're getting all these tribe names that y'all got today, especially the 5 later down the line ones. We was colonized a little bit before, so they don't like us, Catawba, so they don't consider that, but it's actually considered a civilized one. It's just we were so mixed with so many other bands. The white boy can't really say that. They had more hands on all the bands that was up under the chiefs that became coons. We had a lot of coons at the time. So the coons that became the little group of Muskogee Creek, right? They took a lot of bands helping the settlers civilize everybody. It became police with a lot of the coons and the Haudenosaunee and stuff like that. So a lot of people had to rebel against that, like the Miami, Wyandotte, Shawnee, us, Catawbas. We was kicking ass. Well, we was inspiring everybody. So at that time, all of us came together in the lore fashion to go against the coons. So here's where you get red sticks, the red stick Native Americans. That's just all of us, not just Muskogee. It was all of us who was trying to go against anybody who's trying to take the settler side, take the white boy side. You know what I'm saying? Because it was too much stuff going on at that time that no matter whose side you take, Britain, England, they always do some manipulation shit to make us feel like it's a trick being played. So we had to realize, oh, Britain is England big brothers. That's why it's like that. So they're a team. They got some in-house fight that don't go extreme to outsiders. Their inside fight ain't as harsh as them working together as a team to get everybody out the way. So we had to understand, oh, these cats doing some concept of, yeah, they got issues, but they know how to come together and get everybody else out the way and take care of their issues when everybody else out the way. So their issues become money, bank, and stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? And manipulation and shit with themselves. The ancestors. You know what I'm saying? We're going to get into this too. We're going to get into all the spiritual knowledge of this shit. And the peace pipe, what it mean, the star dance, my star dance, the ghost dance, where we do things no matter what world we jump in and what limited access we got. We still going to find a percentage scale that's most what we are so we can use it. And jump back in and speak for ourselves and shit like that and say, I'm back. And this is what we used to do too. And the white man tried to stop it a lot of times. So, you know, and then you might even do your history on the ghost, let's say the specific ghost dance based on the Lakota and the Sioux in Colorado. It didn't start there. That's when we was getting moved westward. A lot of them is from the East Coast. Like they move all, and the story was told because when we talk about planeticons, that's a whole territory. So that's like 5 cities, 5 states in like one mass. So once generals, chiefs get, and we're having bands and connection, it's easy for California Native Americans to know about ghost dancing and East Coast Native Americans to know about ghost dancing. You know what I'm saying? We already have our own thing going. Y'all have to understand, when you get history through the white man, they'll make you think this is a vacant land over here. No, we got whatever they doing to other people and how they did y'all. You know what I'm saying? The third world country shit. Killing, raping babies and all the and raping the women and killing the men and stuff like that. Like how they did. So when we get into once they turned the Lenape that was ruled and all the bands that was ruled up under Neolin, right? And then for the most part turned them into the ones who were civilized, turned them into Munsee Native Americans. So a Munsee Native American is a Native American that allowed the Jesuit to play their god. So here's where you get our culture get ready to get plagiarized and the word get ready to get changed. So here's the creation of a Munsee tribe. So let's say you do your research on a Munsee tribe. You would think it got something to do with us. And that's why don't let nobody online, no matter what they are, when they start saying, hey, y'all, they used to be this, that, and the third, and they really indigenous. Where's their immediate family? That don't even make no sense. That's the Fed. Just using motion picture shit or whatever the case, or motion video. Because, look, let's say you a free man, Asian, and you live around me. Your mom and you know better. I know better. If we was kids and you was around my auntie, grandmother, my mother, everybody know better. So if we online, it seemed like white boys be online to make it seem like don't nobody got a median family. Like they could be online, tell somebody next door neighbor something, and the next door neighbor ain't going outside in real life to be like, that don't make sense. See what I'm saying? Like, but this is what they're doing online. It's getting weird. That shit get weird. That shit get weird. Like they get online right now and be like, y'all, it'll be some Ghanaian person that they make as a caricature. And they'd be like, hey, y'all, to make y'all think that. They'd be like, hey, y'all, we was really Seminoles or Tuscarawas or whatever the case may be. Dude, who was the chief? Where's your median family? What was the language? What was you know what I'm saying? Like, what are you talking about? You just can't just like start saying stupid shit. That come with history. You're supposed to have a cousin around you right now that there's something done to them. Something's supposed to be done in you. You're supposed to be seeing something a certain way. You're supposed to be being able to, you're supposed to go outside right now and be like, this was done, this, that, there, and then this, that. You're supposed to be able to see a symbol on a tree and be like, oh, that's what that say. That's what that say. You come to Ohio right now, we go on any tree, you'll see a whole bunch of actions on bricks, mounds, and shit like that, you will get online. This should be crazy as hell to me. You will get online, they'll say something about Hebrew or Greeks used to be here or something like that. And no, it ain't. Is this the Native American language? Like, I was like, what the fuck is they talking about? But you would see a flood of that shit online. So it made me feel like I dare a white boy to come where I'm at and try to use our tax dollars to fund some shit, like they did some research and they found some history of some shit that ain't even what you get ready to say. They probably about to say this some 80,000 years ago shit. No, it's not, dude. What are you talking about? That's still prevalent. What are you talking about? So yeah, don't get online. They be just doing tricks and stuff like that. And then for the most part, they use our tax dollars to do some shit we don't want to do. For an example, they use our tax dollars to fund protests and then get ready to use our tax dollars to stop it. And then get ready to use our tax dollars to say that they're going to give us a law. Hey, just stop giving y'all taxes and vote y'all out. What the hell kind of shit is that? You know what I'm saying? So it's like they use our tax dollars to do shit and use our tax dollars to get out of it and use our tax dollars to exercise laws on us. You can't do shit without our tax dollars. Like, so you better start doing some shit relatable. That don't even make no sense. You can't come up here and talk what you gonna do and what you ain't gonna do, and you only in that position from milking people's oil on lands. Now at that point, that's just getting negative and evil. Like, what made these people that comfortable that they can start thinking like that? That's weird. At this point, everything that come out their mouth is devilish. At this point, none of it makes sense. None of it got no logic behind it. That's like somebody sitting around saying, hey, I feel like scaring people with fear mongering with a law that you use all of our tax dollars for you to be in that position to do. That doesn't make no sense. They use our tax dollars to create missiles to fight each other because they ain't men, and then get ready to use our tax dollars to make it clean up. They sit up here and got a whole bunch of foreigners and natives that's here all the way to the freedmans. Now y'all been here so long, y'all been working. So they take y'all tax dollars and then get ready to use y'all tax dollars to threaten deportation. How the fuck you take people's tax dollars and use the tax money and threaten deportation on people with the very same tax money? At that point, vote everybody out. Any negative demonic shit that ain't got no logic behind it, it ain't even no point for us even voting for shit like that. Who are these people at that point? These just demonic people exercising dumb shit. Hey, let's blow up random lands. This what it means to go to war. Who made that up? Who made up let's waste people's tax dollars on military missiles and this is the way we're going to exercise war, by blowing up random lands? If y'all don't know that ain't shit else but gentrification, I don't know no better. Now, for the most part, here's the thing. So once they made all the Munsi Native American, they made the bunch of tribes and bands, especially the Lenape, civilized. They put these people in a box, Magic Square, call it an area, and say this is up under a peace flag because y'all accepted our colonization, what they're calling today Christianity or Catholicism. But back then, it was just us getting ready to be in that church that used to be a sweat lodge or a Masonic longhouse that they burnt down. They burnt down all of our towns and replaced it with Masonic lodges or the court system. And we about to be the ones in it, working it. And we're the ones up under the peace tribe as if we're separate from our family. Now, here's the thing. You have a whole bunch of natives on war parties. So we're going through war at this time too. The ones who ain't giving a fuck about that shit and like, man, fuck all that, and they killing our family and shit like that. This is who white boys got to really deal with us like that and that energy. Now, here's the thing. It doesn't matter when you become 100, 200, 300 Native Americans in one pocket that's under a white flag. White boys start getting drunk and looking at y'all like y'all could rebel anytime. Y'all could rebel any day. You know what I'm saying? Or something like that. So this is what they did to the Munsi tribe. They killed 100 Native Americans and Tuscarawas River in Ohio. And then for the most part, just because they start ghost dancing. They start star dancing. So that the star dance represent, now this is what Neolin teach us also, but we learn this from Manëtuwak and MONETOWAH. So that's the masculine and the feminine holy people of, if you want to look for lack of better terms, to make something simple to y'all in these times. Let's say the root chakra area in the great spirit Yahlahué. So we got a bunch of holy ones inside that's greater than you and this being, and Yahlahué in the world, the great earth, amongst a bunch of beings, and then that's all up under the great spirit. So we're seeing different sides. When something is like a pardon me. When something is like a what they call that? What they call that? Because this how we look at sometimes how we created the white man. When something is a invaded species. Invasion species. Do I got that right? Let me see if that's right. Invasion species. Invasive species. Yeah. So Washishu actually means invasive species. It doesn't even necessarily mean white. White means Wabish, and white man mean Wabishka Wiha. And white woman mean Wabishka Wikiya. You see what I'm saying? So when it gets into just something that's foreign or foreign thought, that doesn't have the flavor, condensity, and the coloring of something that was in the native area already. That even goes down to plants. This is how we get rid of vines and stuff. But when something is an invasive species, it's something that's foreign that joins the ecosystem of something that in an area that was there already, and then since it has similar things, it could connect. That's like water with different stuff in it float in some other water. Now that other water that didn't have the other stuff in it, it start flowing in the water with the other stuff in it, and now you have a mixture of something. But before the other water was in it, the water may have had a peaceful flow. As soon as that other water got in it, it start going in other directions and stuff. So it start messing with the ecosystem by having similar ways of survival. So it's able to attach to the ecosystem, but also by it being foreign, it start creating foreign characteristics within the native ecosystem. So it's parasitic and things of that nature when it comes to that energy. But get into that. I forgot what that point was leading to, but this is what we call the Washishu. That was that point. But then when they started to look at that dance being practiced, they started to see that as bringing spirits back that was rebellious, war spirits, the spirits that went to the happy hunting grounds, not no peaceful warrior spirit grounds. So for the most part, that's when they went and a general ordered some other colonist generals that claim they're Christians. Let me repeat. This is why when y'all go in history to be like, how can these people be Christians and make a Jesus boat? Jesus is mean they're trying to play God and they're not believing in that. And they're being colonists. And the spiritual system come later on down the line. That's the book you're reading. At this time, this is what they want to do. They was really negative. So the generals ordered them, hey, you can go slaughter those Moonsie Native Americans because they got signs of resistance, and it's too many of them. It's like 100 of them, and you could go grape the woman as you please. So when they went over there, they round them all up, killed the men first that tried to stop it, and then locked all the women up. And then prayers was going on as each woman taken turn of getting raped. The rest of the natives and the men that was alive before they got killed was just praying and stuff like that and allowing the generals to do it. And then because they try to, it's like, hey, what you gonna do? And the woman was getting raped and killed right after they got raped. And this how sick they are. The colonists were and stuff like that. So this was the general order and stuff. So that sent the Northwest Territory in a frenzy. You know what I'm saying? That right there is what sparked me back in the day. I'm in the same area. That sparked me back in the day, Tecumseh. That specific situation and other situations and stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? Where we were scattered and our original way of life start getting taken and shit. So all that did was make me be like, Well, I'm Chief Pontiac because Neolin was the person who inspired Chief Pontiac to take care of the motherlands in the Ohio, which is Ohio. You know what I'm saying? So I had to take that. I had to take that up then, and then for the most part, then that inspired motherfucker shit for me. Haël'Ho, Yahlahué, and shit. The concept was on the same shit. I'm the same spirit though. I don't go no further than that. You know what I'm saying? This is what we always do. We always do the little the ghost dance, star dance, and then the peace pipe. So what do the Great Spirit teaches us? And when it comes into Manëtuwak, right now, Manëtuwak. So it's the man in the sky, right? The man, the one that come in was first shall be last, last shall be first. So we talk about the root chakra area in Yehovah. Yehovah has no form. You know what I'm saying? So things that represent what has no form, it has no form, but it has just enough what we're considering a form to understand it. So that's like you can't weigh a thought, but you can experience a thought and you can understand a thought. So I'm going to put you on to concept what's actually going on. So this will be a more rooted, more condensed of the formless that has form. You see what I'm saying? So the masculine side, the masculine beast of the root, if you want, for lack of better terms, the root spirit and things of that nature is Manëtuwak, right? Because you don't want to use the WAAH or the WAAH as a washing, as for purity and things of that nature. And the WAAH, you can hear the water flow, the WAAH, 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 WAAH. You know what I'm saying? The lighter of the water, the more heavy, that'd be a ba 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 baby coming in. You know what I'm saying? So when you start to understand the concept of, and we're making organs, the spirit always know the first body is the mind and the second body is the physical, this body. And then for the most part, the third layer, the motherland, is the representations of it. So you can always be in sync. So when you're on the burial grounds or when you're keeping that on your mind, you leave that previous mind and body, and your spirit always has that broader size and the ability to be able to make something similar. And the similar is the same atmosphere, the same environment, the same indigenous land. See what I'm saying? For you to come back, be born. So when it comes into the dance, right? The dance is really was predicated off of the ghosts of the ancestors that have died. So a lot of dances that we made for ceremonies that emanate the sky, once we start going through colonization and stuff like colonization, it was killing us. We start making dances that imitate the deaths of our people that we witness, because we're trying to come up with ways to cope. And at this time, ain't no TV and stuff, so we're more in the spiritual. You see what I'm saying? In the internal world anyway. That's what y'all need to get back to anyway, and this would be even better. So a lot of Masons that took that same kind of concept and they be interacting the ways how they killed us. They weird. They're doing everything on the reverse. They like perverts. But for the most part, we might interact dances and stuff that represent a person who have died, even if we wasn't around and we heard the story. When you emanate the dance as you being a spirit, you're creating the awareness, the mind, that move in the same way that that person and your family member was moving in. And physically, what they was going through, they died. But you're doing the same thing that they did without dying, waking up. Let's say a family member was on the ground or something like that. You do a dance like this, and after the dance, you got up. You did something your family member didn't get to do. Your ancestor is still attached to that energy before they died. So they're going to be able to go back into that relatable mind. They got helped by the other spirits. So we all in the washing machine cycle of relatable and synchronizing energy. So we're not getting stuck in no hell. And that form, you got help to be born through, as to be like, boom, I'm back. Even if you don't know you back, you still be doing the same thing. You might come up with star walking. You don't know why you star walking or whatever the case. I mean, you will know if you like me. I'm just saying, I'm just using that as an example. What y'all be doing, and if you far right now from Africa, you probably doing some Africa and saying some African words and something like that, but you don't know why, and ain't no book or nothing telling you that that's what that is. And then you might stumble across something, but that's if you extremely calling out. I'm telling you, they almost got y'all there. Y'all got to get y'all shit. Y'all got to get y'all shit. Because this is why you feel the same way you feel, like your parents, your grandparents, that after colonization, all y'all went through the same sentiment at 18. What the fuck I'm gonna do? And we all had our own way of already knowing. Life was already that. Issues come from other areas and things of that nature, right? So, yeah, getting into the point of the ghost dance, right? So when you do that, you're emanating your ancestor in the sky, and an animal, or whatever the case may be, and then you're able to experience seconds after what they didn't get to experience, being alive. And then you get to do what they wish they could have did, but they couldn't. And the thing that they went through that didn't allow them to stay alive and they died, you're able to use that idea and not use the idea that they had that you see what I'm saying? You're able to piggyback. It gives you the spirit. And then for the most part, when you have a child or people you around, we all doing it, it be that spirit that we doing that from. And then when you die, you be that spirit that come back. And y'all continue y'all shit. You know what I'm saying? You continue y'all shit. Now, after long periods of colonization, you're not going to be your pure selves no more. So you're going to be mixed in with other tribes like we was already. And then due to the fact of whoever doing shit on their end, you come back in a world where there may be other foreigners that you're probably mixed with too, that based upon survival. But other than that, everybody in all ethnicities do the same thing. You see what I'm saying? But y'all just ain't as deep at it. So I'm giving y'all a nuance as something to piggyback on so y'all can start now. You know what I'm saying? With y'all shit. So you could be here. Now the peace pipe, right? And it ain't just about getting high and babbling. When y'all actually watch me, y'all see I got a lot of sense. And it's the God version of high, not the inverted version. Oh, dude, I'm just high. I believe that the constellation actually looked like a ram in the sky, dude. Dude, I can't wait to NASA drop another video, dude. You know what I'm saying? Bro, you heard Neil deGrasse to say, dude, he's the next Carl Sagan, dude. Rest in peace, Carl Sagan. Zeus. You know what I'm saying? No. We make a lot of sense because it's natural. So in nature, now we make something then simple, then we go deep. We make something simple first, then go deep. Now it's the right way. So my version of getting high is actually bring you back down to earth. I'm actually make me relatable and shit, not erratic. So it's the natural nature because the plant come from the ground. Now, but for the most part, it's the mind. Same way how we make the Indian strawberry, the wild strawberry. Pluck all the mock ones out and shit like that, right? The Indian one, they just plagiarized that name too. You know what I'm saying? And try to make everything fake and then brought a bunch of Hindus over here so they could claim the word Indian too. So when y'all be thinking about Hindus, Arabs, Asian mixed people, y'all don't know what else to call them, but with Briticana and England man doing psyops on us Native American real Indians is making them call themselves that too. It's another way how they still import, export, import, export, import, export, import, export. They're doing that to everybody, all ethnicity, to try to claim native somewhere that in the middle of them doing that, they're losing themselves. So they're still trying to figure out how to get out that box. And we love everybody. We don't hate nobody. Now, when we get into, but we know people don't love me, so I don't love them either. And people who hate on me every day and shit like that, y'all don't love them either. Don't never give nobody no grace when it comes to anybody practicing military stuff in the government. Don't ever leave these people what they be, and they just choose to do that. But when we say we love everybody and stuff like that, we're not including them. You know what I'm saying? So when it comes to what's on your mind, that's also the atmosphere. And if what's on your mind is connected with the ancestor and things of that nature, then for the most part, that builds more cadensity, aka more ability for the spirit to come back. And so that takes many nuances, honors, praises, remembering, and what you're doing it for. Not just being in cloudy, foggy thought, having a direct thought, having conviction and shit like that, having intent. So you know what these ground bases is. So you're in the holy world, building that down here. So this is how you keep coming back. And for the most part, you know what I'm saying, be able to take your claim and take your land back or however the case, because really don't nobody own land by property. The land is made out of the atmosphere, and that's our mind. So this where trend, influence, attention come from. The ability to attract others. That's a quality that Washi Shu is creating their fake God, and their God is jealous for. because other people have a genuine quality in some way, shape, or form. And they look at that as something negative. So if you have a capability, white boy don't like that. White boy will blow you up. It don't matter what capability it is, a mental capability, a physical capability. Any, you could do a lot of cartwheels. They look at that as a capability. They create a law around no one able to do cartwheels no more until everybody in the world look like Homer Simpson. So white boy is jealous beyond matters. Like anytime somebody jealous because people have capabilities, the only capability you're able to deal with them with is fighting ones and war ones. Then now you're fighting their game. Who got the best war capabilities? And nobody wins. That's a whole stupid concept. The whole when we created militias and stuff like that, it's when people not doing right. It ain't had nothing to do with taking over somebody else's land and not minding your business. You know what I'm saying? So now y'all understand how you're getting Chickasaw, Choctaw, Muncie. You know what I'm saying? Now you're understanding how you're getting all these tribes that got Spain and England remixing to it. You know what I'm saying? And shit. Because it's white boys playing God. So any history you get of the Native Americans, you're going to get through the colonizer mind. So this is why you feel so comfortable saying Christopher Columbus discovered here. Okay, if you from Europe and you're through seeing things through the lens of my feet hurt energy, okay, you discovered another land with people who was already running shit. From our perspective, we ain't discovered shit. We was already here. And didn't nobody want to discover Europe. Didn't nobody want to go take our kayak and go nowhere else and claim we discovered some other people there. See, when y'all hear the word discover, y'all think it's just a vacant land. So sometimes when even some of y'all different, like other people, mixtures and ethnicities start talking, y'all take the white man's starting point. And then y'all claim y'all did what the white man did because you only know history based upon white man telling history. So your history start with, well, I'm a voyager too. I'm a settler too. So what makes me intelligent? I settled all over the world. What makes me intelligent? I knew all the trade routes all over the world. But y'all don't be knowing none of the people who owned the trade routes, none of the kings. We was all kings of this land. Neolin is what y'all calling a king. We ain't call them kings. We call them Massasoits, Arachnosaurs. But it's our concept. You see what I'm saying? Y'all don't be knowing what the trade route is about. Y'all don't even know what's in y'all backyard that the white man is getting rich off of for you to even honor it, because your grandparents and your forefathers been doing that so long and made a government out of that without white boy. Y'all so far from how life was here that white boy had to get used to and make a synthetic version of it. Y'all looking at it like this is a vacant land, no government, and America gets built up at that point. Y'all don't even understand white boy came over here and blend in with us and just running our shit the same way now. Not nobody came over here and established what y'all call America. And since there were slaves that got forced in draft and stuff like that, y'all talk about this is what built America. America is just somebody's name to make this government over here of Native Americans slaves. We already had a government. So y'all get that out y'all mind too, of America is built when white boy got over here. White boy came and mingled with us. There ain't nothing in history that's telling you America is built when white boy got over here. All history tells you white boy interacted with the Native Americans and slowly but surely took over our shit. It don't tell you nothing else. Y'all lost in cowboy and Indian movies. That's way later on when TV started getting created in the like middle the 1900s. TV wasn't here until like what, the 1920s. At that point, that's the very time we're not the main players anymore. A lot of shit they tell y'all that happened in the 1500s happened in the 1800s. A lot of chiefs that they told y'all that they interacted with in the 14 and the 1500s were allegories about what whole tribes did in the 1700s. You see what I'm saying? So you might hear something about like a great chief in New York and Wapanage that they interacted with in the 1500s. No, that was all the Native Americans in New York that was hitting them upside their head in the 1700s. You see what I'm saying? Like, they be lying. Yeah, they lying about history on y'all. They created some manifested destiny. Then when they want to tell other people histories, they be in that same starting point, just start fucking y'all history up with other type shit. Right? But use the same kind of concept. So it'll be a caricature concept, but then it now is in the lens of manipulation. So if you don't know yourself, like let's say if you're a free man or an Arab from Africa, they get you in an Abrahamic religion or whatever the case may be, or like Babaji, if you're from India. Babaji is a concept of what all y'all was doing at that time. And they don't believe it. And they're waiting for somebody to come back to be like, so they could be like, oh, maybe that is real. But right now, they just making money off satellites about it or books about it. So you're always going to have a white author talking about somebody else's culture. Like, they think that's a good thing. They think it's a good thing to get online or to get on TV and start being like, well, this what the people we knew, like we can't speak for ourselves. Y'all need to stop them from doing that. If you're a free man, if you are Asian, because they damn sure got to stop doing that with us Native Americans. Y'all got to stop that. That is not cool. You know what I'm saying? Stop doing that shit. Stop telling people other people's history. Tell your own. So anytime it's a book that a white man wrote talking about they discover something, throw it away. Don't even waste your money on that shit. Who asked the white boy? Talk about your history. Or don't talk about no history at all. Just like they say, if you ain't got nothing nice to say, don't say nothing nice at all. You don't get to come over here and tell me what my people... Y'all the reason why people have to get DNA tests from foreigner lands and stuff like that. The reason DNA tests exist because white boy got rid of other people's ethnicities. If white boy stayed where they was at, you will already know who you are. Like that would have never ever been nothing for y'all in Africa, Asia, India, and then how they try to do us over here, and slowly but surely. But since they are living over here, you're listening to someone that's prisoner of war. But for the most part, they leave y'all flunked out and shit like that, and put y'all in kind of weird situations, and then they'll be trying to tell your history that they don't even know theirs. How they gonna tell you your history? So you gotta look at it like that. If a white boy is telling you your history, they're just purely projecting, hey, this when we destroyed y'all for us to not be sure and for y'all to not be sure. So, hey, you should like us because at least we trying to give you your history because I come from a line of playing God. So we feel like our word is bond, and what we tell people, that's the truth. You know what I'm saying? And that's where it's stopping their mind. And y'all be allowing them to get away with stupid shit like that. Don't let no white boy sit up here and tell y'all about y'all history. You know what I'm saying? Because they got y'all believing in Christopher Columbus stupid shit and having y'all believe they came over here in the 1492. So you don't know nothing about what we was doing. You don't know nothing about... So it just make you think white man had a superpower or something like that. White man was getting slaughtered and shit. You know what I'm saying? Until they start bringing free man Africans over here and shit. Y'all lost in the sauce. Real man. So I don't know why y'all got to start listening. So for an example, if you listen to a Native American, we not talking about George Washington. We're not talking about God damn it, we interacted with the generals. We're not talking about Christopher Columbus, the Da Vinci, whatever. Like, it's all the generals, and we're not talking about those dates. Y'all they got in these books and stuff like that. That's all of that is lies and stuff. That's all lies. So, for an example, right? If you hear something was originally written in Greek, that means it was originally written by what Native Americans for the Muskogean Creek and that's just all the bands that was trying to make that part of civilized government for the settlers to understand us and to create some union or whatever the case may be. So that's the early language before y'all get in English. It was Greek here, Creek, right? Us, we here first. It was Creek. Y'all getting Greek and a whole bunch of pictures of them plagiarizing us. Them the clothes we wore, shit like that. Now, when it comes to for an example, you might be like, nah, Dolo, that's wrong. Why would a white little boy Cupid have an arrow? All right, it's letting you know in even other areas that ain't even got nothing to do with religion. This is their mind state. They've been taking all of our culture, replacing it with white boy, at trying to play God and stuff like that. Hebrew, Jews. The concept of Jews itself is the civilized Native Americans up under the white flag, and we ain't call it Jew. You see what I'm saying? And it's our way to be native here, to be alongside with settlers. Once they got rid of us, they could claim native and then play this immigration game on y'all now. You see what I'm saying? Duh. It's them taking people's culture and hiding in it and controlling it, but never native to them lands that they're doing it on. So if you're listening to a Jew today, everything that come out their mouth is basically taking them to hell. What kind of God do they got being broadcasters on American soil? Like, you have to really put that in your mind. You have to really put in your mind. And we love everybody, right? Don't harm anybody. But we're talking about what's common sense. You have to really understand any white person that's a Jew is hellbound. There ain't no excuse for being on somebody else's land, taking their culture, creating property around it, owning it, playing the people God on purpose, mixing up their language on purpose so it's not a communication language, it's some prayer warrior language, and actually threatening people y'all bringing over here too, and owning people's land. And then actually creating a church and acting like Native Americans. That's the very mathematics to go to hell. There ain't no person that's white that's practicing Jewish in any capacity that ain't going to hell. Who in your right mind would think otherwise? That goes beyond a person exercising power. I'm talking about mentally. What you're doing physically. You're literally on this soil that we call it in America, owning property and playing some religious game. Knowing how that was done. Knowing what you're doing every day. Like you could be a peaceful Jew, but just the simple fact of being on this land, acting like it, and being in a church, that's hell. If you can't do that in your own homelands, what's the purpose? You know what I'm saying? That's like me going to Europe or Australia or Asia and talking about Manëtuwak, and like I could go bring my ass back here to talk about Manëtuwak. You see what I'm saying? Like, why would I create a news channel? Why would I be owning property in motherfucking India or like, it don't make sense. The only sense you can make out of it has nothing to do with God. And that ain't no logic behind it. It's just making money. So, like, I don't even get it on any level. Like, that is going to hell. The whole Catholic Pope, the whole way the government is established, is like they normalized going to hell. So no wonder they're evaporating and they can't never say I'm back. Because it's like let's say you from India. You so colonized, you calling yourself an Indian, and you think a better life is coming to America, and getting rich and living a peaceful life. But you're literally going to hell. You're literally coming on a land that was established to pluck from the land to be rich in the first place, that people was already conducting it without that type of way of doing it, and actually owning it and working, and in your mind, that's like a synthetic. I don't even get it. Like, what are you even living for? You're literally living to go to hell. I literally don't understand what you're doing. Just like when people fighting for America, the Americans is Europeans.
I don't get why Europeans fighting over this soil. You're literally can only be fighting for, you either got a forefather that owned a land here based off money. So you just fighting over the name, you fight symbolism. The actual land didn't birth you. This is why you're not tapped in. This is why you don't care. You blowing stuff up. How can you be tapped into a land and knowing that people come from the water and the land if you're blowing it up? Obviously, you don't believe that. So they're going to hell and just losing a race and don't know what to do with it. Nothing but go to war and blow stuff up. But any war don't have anything to do with the land. What do the thing you come from got to do with it? So this is how they're evaporating themselves. Like the life is evaporating them. People who got grace just come back in the world and be able to change it back to the way they was living. This is how us natives getting ready to do this now. This is why there's so many of us back. Know what I'm saying? They just get ready to destroy themselves. And everything they claim they fighting for based off property is just going to be here for the spirits who was here before them. And we figure out what to do with it. We're in the middle of that. This is why so many women in the police force. It don't even matter what ethnicity you are. They need you in front of Fox News. They need you in these movies and stuff. All right. These things is only here because they killed Native Americans. And those ones that did it, the star players, they spiritually evaporated. So less and less spirits come back. The spirits that was even graping, mind and DNA ain't strong enough. So the spirits that's them ain't strong enough to take that body. And the one with the mind and DNA that's stronger, spirits come back in. So for the most part, here's where it's not enough of them to practice the same thing. So here's where you have to get mixed spanglers. Get a rapper, get an actor to promote that. To get this to promote that. You know what I'm saying? Here's where you get that right now and stuff. So all these buildings that at one time they could have talked to each other on the news channel and said, let's just get rid of them natives and any freedmans that we brought over here that's taking a side, and Asians that's taking a side, and Puerto Ricans that's taking a side, whatever, Mexicans that's taking a side, right? Now we at a time where these same buildings and streets and roads, we all back, and we just got to figure out what we got to do with this shit. We in limbo. This is where we at right now. And it's not enough of them saying I'm back. It's too many of them saying I'm that. So it's a small percentage scale that's agreeing with the ones that evaporated still trying to do. So they have to do it in a Malibu Most Wanted way. Be tainted, Illuminati, behind closed doors, pervert energy, 7 degrees behind. So they can't come up here and be genuine. Their starting point ain't genuine. Can't be in the light with the dark, bringing it to the light. They shit started off negative dark. Can't be natural. They shit started off an act and copying other people emotionally and physically and stuff like that. So this is the last of the limbo. The last of them being Mohicans now. Them turning into dinosaurs now. The natural way where you can't come back to bring hell on earth. You stay in your pocket of earth. You had to become a human and close to be an atmosphere to be the spirit that know how to harness a thought long enough. Tension span to become that next organ. Lifespan. It's just you got this organ and bullshitted with it with the organ implosion and created a big lifespan to do it. All those thoughts that you're motivating to do what you make yourself think you're doing right now. And then for the most part, that's your YHL. And then for the most part, you stay stuck in that. But you had only a human next to the atmosphere being, the Atmos DAs, the spirit beings could harness the next organ that lived longer than the last creature. And yours, you're not going to be able to create another body. So that mind you're going to be stuck in, can't find birth, can't find life. And to get rid of the thoughts, you got to not be aware. And to not be aware is to get rid of awareness. And to get rid of awareness is thoughts and feelings and stimuli and life. And then as a spirit, you spiritually evaporate, but you ain't gonna want to do nothing else. So this is how spirits evaporate. You know what I'm saying? Because they choose to. They can't do nothing else. Think about how you're alive right now and you gotta pee. And think about if you asleep, you had to pee. But you can't wake up in a body now to have that stimuli and pee. So it's just the thought of it. But the only thing real is the experience. the thought gonna be real. So you're gonna be peeing, not wanting to pee, have thoughts of peeing in something that you in, and you pee every time you pee, it fill up. Every time you don't pee, your organs start to feel like they're imploding. Every time you do pee, it's gonna fill up whatever you in more, so you might drown in your own pee. You know what I'm saying? And it's gonna be you not being able to get out of that. You know what I'm saying? Like, how the fuck I get out of this? You know what I'm saying? Shit, you're gonna go all the way back to a more extended awareness of all the condensed awareness you created for you to have an experience from a baby to be an adult and not be able to find death or not be able to find birth. So you ate the fruit, and then as a spirit, you thought you was God. So you ain't gonna be able to find death. Ye shall not die. You know what I'm saying? You're just gonna know what God know. You're gonna know what us holy ones know. We make minds, and minds condense as the fruit that become organs, right? So the spirit is eternal. But if you eat the wrong fruit, you're never going to be able to make the fruit of birth again. You're never going to be able to make the fruit of death. You get stuck in when you created a fruit, bit it, and then it became ripe, and then it evaporated in death, and then you didn't get into this pocket again of knowing birth. You got too rooted in something after you was born and before you died. So since we don't remember being born and don't remember being and dying because it's new fruit, so we just supposed to understand we got the ability to know that we can harness a thought. That becomes an ability on its own. All you did was harness a thought. So you lack the ability to create a thought to know that, oh, I have the ability to have memories. You got caught in having more thoughts within one memory. So that's you being a spirit inside of your own seed that can never germinate again. You can never be born again. You know what I'm saying? And things like that. You can't find death. You shall not die, but you will know the truth. So you didn't do something the right way. So you're going to stay in your own little pocket of existence forever. And since the first layer is fire, that's what it might feel like. Because expansion of germination is fire. Then the fluid of it is water. Then the expanding out of it is air. Then the shape and form that take or the condensity of that transition becomes the earth. The substantiation of it. Pardon me. And you might only know how to do that in your mind without being able to do that naturally and have that form as a body again. So as a spirit, you can't have the actual that experience. So you're going to want to be born, but you can't remember actually being born. You only can have a thought based upon when you was alive, what you can imagine after the fact. So you may have a thought of being in a hospital. You might only come up with the intelligence of, hey, this might what it look like if I'm inside of a body, my mom's body. You might see, oh, that's a baby, that's me. But it's always going to be the thought outside of it, not in it. And that's you just being lost in your imagination. You can't actually be born, only could witness it. You can't actually die to have that transition, only witness it. And only thing real is the experience. So it's only going to seem like you're dying. It's only going to seem like you're trying to be born, but never actually being born, never actually dying. That's suffering 1,000 deaths, suffering 1,000 births, never actually having an experience. Always seeming like you're on the outside in. You might be like, wait, let me jump inside the body. Maybe I can have it. You jump inside of it, start having an experience. Okay, I'm looking at the heart now. I'm looking at this blood cell move to the lung. You're like, but you just thinking these things. Like you just dead. You just dead. You could never be it because you were synthetic. So learn how to be genuine. Learn how to be natural. Learn how to be relatable. You know what I'm saying? Because a lot of y'all be flunked out. You know what I'm saying? This is why it's important to have mound meetings and stuff like that with your close ones and spiritual people in the world and stuff, because you know what I'm saying, you want to be here and you want to be in a situation where you are making the world more pleasant and relatable. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna release a video too. I gotta get them more juicy too with the native wild strawberries, because what I'm gonna show y'all is how to take all of it, pluck off all the fruit, put it in a big pot, big bowl, take all the leaves, put it in another bowl, and cut all the stems and put it in another bowl and show y'all what we did with them and stuff like that. So the stem has a lot of the pus in it, or the what they call that, the pike or something in it, right? Where it's like a mucus tissue, but this ain't the one we can make soap off of. This is the one we can make lotion and stuff and other type of gel or even hair gel. Because this a lot of times you can slick the hair up with this in a wild strawberry, or scrapes or something like that. Or let's say you got dry skin, so it get dark in certain areas. It could be the moisture that eventually is start to heal and lighten back up in that area, however the case may be. Like maybe you punched a wall or something like that, or you ain't moisturized. So the stem is split the stem, right? Take all the little substance out, or you could boil the stem, right? And then take the water that you boiled the stems in, right? And put it in a jar, mix it up, and you could add other oils with it, and then it could be like an oil and shit like that. And then it smell good too, but it actually is a medicinal. It helps. It's like almost like a citrus. It burns away any things that could be inflammatory, because a lot of y'all be having things on y'all when y'all go into these grocery stores at y'all jobs and stuff that y'all don't know, that start to eat yourself from the inside out if it stay in one pocket, and it be parasites. It'd be an invasive an invasive species, right, to your skin and your body, and the body temperature and stuff don't go correlate with it. Then you'll take the leaves, clean them real good too, and boil that and make teas. Make a tea out of it, and put other leaves in it and stuff like that too, and make leaves out of make teas out of the leaves. So we'll make medicinal creams out of the things that's inside of the stem, make teas out of the leaves. Pardon me. And take the strawberries, and you could just eat the strawberries and however you want to eat them, and mix it with other fruits and stuff like that. So it ain't just the only thing sitting on your stomach, because it's really a medicinal. It burns off stuff. Anything grown outside burns things that might be settling in you that don't move. And anytime you got forms of stiffness, that's not blood. That's blood not moving in your veins. And your veins is your nervous system. And if you ain't got good flowing movement, then that's like blood not pushing where it needs to go. So you start lacking testosterone and an estrogen, the blood cell reproduction and stuff like that. And then therefore you start getting cramps and stiffness and stuff like that. And you be thinking that you have to crack your bones or whatever, but it don't be having nothing to do with that. It is your nerves is stiff, and your nerves is giving off that response to your body. So your body is going through a stress. So a lot of times when they say don't stress, it ain't about thought forms. Like, cause y'all be thinking when they say don't stress, you live longer. Stressful thought forms lead you into actual stress, bodily stress. And sometimes it can be devastating thought forms that you do start developing organ stress. But stress is when your veins, your nerves, blood flow ain't pushing through the way it's supposed to push through. So you start having unnecessary cramps, or if start developing as diabetes or bowel issues and things of that nature, or thyroid issues and shit, pancreas issues, or other kind of shit that can mess you up when you start thinking about. And then also shoulder, feet, ankle, you know what I'm saying? When you don't have a lot of blood pushing through, right? There's not a lot of blood rush in areas to go through a lot of your body. So a lot of times this will make your ankles retain fluid and stuff like that. That's what stress is. You know what I'm saying? Not thought concepts, body stress. But it only leads to that because you probably got a lot of mental stress. So what's on your mind is what you do. You might be doing things that lead to your body not moving enough. And then for the most part, then it become bodily stress. And then if you go to the hospital or something like that, they don't understand that. So a lot of their pills and shit create other problems, because the pills and stuff ain't the direct issue. A lot of times you just need to move your blood around. They give you stuff to make your blood even more subtle. So the area that you're aching in, it's like it got hit with some tranquilizer. You just don't feel it. The problem's still there. So when you start feeling it again, the problem never left. Their synthetic pill just numbed it. It wasn't no cure. And a lot of times the cure is natural. You finding something in nature and exercising on it. So, and then sweating things out. That's the natural cures, right? Things that don't have cures that you got was given to you by eugenics in the first place. So y'all got to understand that. A lot of things that's these new sicknesses, especially STDs, those was created in a lab. Cancer was created in a lab. Diabetes wasn't directly created in a lab, but it was indirectly. The things that they do to the food and stuff like that and the environments is what make your body react a certain way. And once your body start reacting that way, they gave it a name and called it diabetes. But it's just all eugenics being practiced. You know what I'm saying? It's eugenics being practiced. I have one more point too before we go. Because I gotta wake up everybody. All ethnicities. Grandma said wake up everybody. Get everybody on the right track. Yeah. So it just numbed it. So once that synthetic pill wear off, that ain't nothing but a whole bunch of mixture of plants that they dilute so it don't have the full effect. That's why a lot of y'all, even if y'all into vitamins, start getting into the powder versions. Start getting into the pot and then watch that shit too. White man just take everything to make money off of and make sure it's enough to reproduce GMO versions of it that they great descendants can be getting paid. You know what I'm saying? So y'all gotta be careful. It get real tricky and shit like that. But yeah. Ooh, damn. Yeah. I just gotta tell y'all because this should be tricky. So once it wear off, and you start feeling the pain, it was there, but it has something synthetic. So your body start reacting like it need that thing that was there to not feel anything anymore when it's still in pain anyway. So once you get back in pain, you start developing another problem, right? Because it was already in pain, but then your immune system got knocked out, blood cells got knocked out to fight it, that so they could develop mucus that you might consider pain, but it's your body trying to attack the things. So it could develop next time it's going through a similar that situation or a seasonal transition, it can fight itself. So pain or mucus having to be developed as shields for the blood cell, they don't have to do it as much. And you got more blood cells to fight that on smaller scales. So you end up not being sick. You have a stronger immune system because they develop the strength to fight themselves like a baby growing up and don't no longer need training wheels and stuff like that. Now, you get sick based upon being on that path of already damaging your blood cells to be able to do it mentally and physically. Then, when you get sick, you get the pills to knock out the blood cells from even developing mucus in a more extreme way that you know you feel pain, but them even trying to fight already being sick. So then you handicap them, then they just die. Then you just think that your substitute to the vitamin, or not the vitamin, but the pill that the doctor gave you yourself for the diabetes or whatever the case, right? And without it, you're just gonna be feeling pain. But with it, you ain't gotta feel pain. But at that point, you ain't even got no blood cells replenishing that area. So you end up dying from the inside out. And eyes turn extremely yellow and shit. And then for the most part, here's the thing. Everything start becoming rotten. Once your bone marrow start losing juice, everything that's attached to your nerves and bone marrow start deteriorating faster. Right? And then for the most part, that's when your body is just can't even fight anymore. And when you think you're alive, it's just when you're on the thing that's replacing it for it not to fight, but it just feel like it ain't don't need to fight. And then eventually y'all just end up being walking skeletons or being Justin Bieber's where one side of your face don't move or some shit like that because everything is synthetic. And it could have been like natural things you could have been doing. Real natural things you could have been doing and shit like that to prevent going down that train of thought and line of reasoning. That's why look, and we about to end it on this note because we got to bring culture back. Think about it like this. Say you getting up some age, you in your 50s, 60s, 70s, or whatever the case may be, right? And you got a doctor recommending you something, right? Or especially the more money you got, because it kind of seemed like if you're a celebrity, the more money you got, the faster your family members die. The faster you be fucked up. So that lets you know the more money, the more synthetic shit you buy. Look at your goddamn doctor and question yourself. God damn it, if this person telling me the goddamn thing, why don't it work for them? Do they practice what they preach? Y'all say real shit. Y'all be having doctors that be trying to help y'all with y'all health once you need a cane and shit like that. That's 2 peanut butter jelly sandwiches away from needing a cane. Y'all be having doctors telling you gotta exercise a little more. That look like they ain't exercise a day in their life though. So you got the question, then what the fuck is they doing? You know what I'm saying? I'm telling you, once they reach higher point, they just got other type shit that you ain't got, that really they ain't fighting back either and shit like that. Y'all in the same pocket. Get your life together. And I love all y'all from the bottom of my heart. Flight boss, bitch, you know. For sure. You know, I listen to the Mind of an Antares Moon. I am the Royal Archangel Uriel, and I'm here to carry out God duties and motherfucking responsibilities. Woo.